Hello and welcome to our second session about. This time I'm joined with my top business partner and sales director, Steve Smith. I'm James Walters, the commercial director, and Steve handles our outsourced sales activity for our clients. So as this is the first session with Steve, just give us a bit of an overview of what you're doing day to day.
Yeah, that's quite an open question, because I suppose the biggest role I have is to find the right leads, find the right customers, and then approach those in the right way to show them that what we have can actually help and support their goals and challenges. So that, in a nutshell, is what we do. But obviously, there's a lot of detail that we go into the back of that. And I suppose some of the reasons are we've got the old school approach where I may have worked with somebody, I may have a contact through one of our partners with their blessing, and we're able to contact that partner. So we may well be that we've agreed a principal deal with a previous partner, and get that then open to contact for us, and then we can then decide if we think that partner would be interested in working with one of our key suppliers. And the other side of it is complete lead generation, which is where you'll see James, my business partner, do a lot of the back office work, and where we start promote those leads, we find those leads, we bring those leads to the website. That could be from a conference, it could be from a phone call, it could be from a LinkedIn connection, it could be from one of our partners has passed on some of our details. But the growth stage is to get everybody into the website, and then at that point, then they can, if they want, they can download the information. We then can obviously capture their details, and we can contact them and see if they want to take those discussions further, and how can we help and support their challenges.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and it's, so I suppose the journey that we see is that either us doing marketing activity or our client's marketing department generate the website traffic. We help that traffic turn into leads. We talked yesterday to Laura about lead generation. So Laura would be taking those early leads. I suppose where our activity is different to a normal marketing agency is we're qualifying those leads, and then you're doing your work, either old school or new school approach, and then it's handing it over to our clients to then close. A couple of clients are a bit different, I know, because we're actually doing the account management side, but generally it's kind of marketing activity to generate leads, Laura's activity to marketing qualify leads, your activity to sales qualify, and then handing over an opportunity. And that's, I suppose, where things are a bit different.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but it's not, because people are busy. People have got they've got schedules, they've got their own meetings, they're away from the office. So, even when you get a lead and they need your help, they haven't always got time to talk to you. And I've literally just on a call now with a guy that we've been in contact for around 8 to 12 weeks. We're going through. He's very interested in working with one of our partners. He's just too busy, and he's just not quite ready. And as much as frustrating that is, you just have to be patient. It's a long-term approach for us. Our partners, have been in business for, some of our partners have been in business for over 35 years, and some have been in business for sort of 3 or 4 years. But the long-term approach has to be, you can't rush a sale. When they're ready to buy, they are ready. But you obviously want to make sure you take them through a journey. You've given them enough detail and enough background, and also the fact that they like talking to you, they learn something from you when they speak to you, and they can generally see you as a help source. Then when they are ready to buy, then that process is slicker, because we can then offer them straight onto our partners that at that point, they're ready to have a more detailed technical discussion, and hopefully, it will lead to a supply sale or a service sale.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when we talked. I was talking with Laura yesterday, and how the tree group started off to how we are now. I think historically we would chase a lot more leads, but now I would say, and a sort of advice for companies that are trying not to be busy fools, is to have the right tools around you to know the best leads, the ones that are interested and most engaged with your content, and to use content and different channels to keep in touch with them. So if all you've got is a personal email and a phone, that's all you can use. And on the other end of that, the recipients are going to get quite bored. That's what you do. But if you've got social media, email marketing, you go into events and you keep in touch with people in a variety of ways, I think that's probably helped us not worry about calling somebody all the time, because we know they're going to get nurtured through different channels.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think that, you know, it could be that we send them a message on LinkedIn. It could be that we send them, we leave them a voicemail. You know, people are busy and they'll put your phone to voicemail, but that's great for us because it's a contact point. It shows that we're interested in working with them. We'll leave them some information for that and think, okay, you know, then we'll follow up with an email saying we've sent you a voice message. Please listen to it, because we think there's something in there that can help you support what you're trying to, what your challenges are and what your goals are. So that leads them to listen to the voice message. So at least then when you contact them multiple times, and that sounds wrong, but when you contact them, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a follow-up email, maybe it's a message on LinkedIn, maybe you share some content about a recent case study on the partner, you're then becoming less and less of a stranger. And that certainly bodes well for me, because when I do ring them, I want them to, first of all, you've got to break past reception. You've got to be able to take the call forward, make sure you've covered what you've discussed in the past, so you don't go over old ground, and keep moving that call forward. So, and by having our CRMs, you know, we have multiple clients and multiple customers. You know, we're working on probably between sort of 20 and 30 really good active leads for each of our partners at any time. So the CRM is invaluable to make sure you know at what progress you spoke to them. It could be that they're on holiday for a week. It could be that they've got a business, they've got a real business deal that they've got to close on Friday, but great, call me on Monday. It's just having that knowledge then to make some notes and say, oh, how did you get on at this race? How did you get on at this rally? Did you get your grant? How was the show? And just sort of show that you're interested in what they're doing as well, not just bang on about what your partners do. Actually show some really interest, and actually you'll learn something, because you'll ask them more questions. You'll ask them opening questions. You know, ultimately, yes, you're trying to find out what their challenges are, but you've got to ask those questions. So, you know, what are you trying to achieve? You know, who do you work with now? You know, how are you looking to grow your business? Do you want to add a product to your range? Have you got, what's your time scale? What's your budget? Do you need some engineering support? You know, there's so many questions you can open and ask in a call that for me, I love it, because it challenges me every day, and I learn something new. I've learned something about partners today which I would never have known unless I picked the phone up onto him. So he's got an engineering background. He used to do rallying, and I didn't realise that he didn't do rallying. And we've got a common interest, because my background is World Championship rallying. So we spoke about just not against not about the partner's product, but actually more of a background call that's then opened up to other things, and we've then discussed another partner. So there could be actually two sales opportunities just by opening a phone call up and asking the right questions.
Yeah, and it's good to hear comment about questions. When we were talking to Laura yesterday, we were looking for a tip for anybody watching of what's the best way to get a response to your first email, and asking the right question. What was that tip? But it's not, do you want to buy this product? It's a question that's going to get the recipient actually opening up about the projects they work on or the challenges they're facing. And it sounds like that is the same at your stage of the sales process on the phone.
Yeah, and many times that, you know, you'll get rejected. You'll have to leave a voicemail. The receptionist won't put you through. You will get through, but you'll have a short conversation with him, and most of the time people are quite not afraid of salesmen, but they think they haven't got the time to speak to you. So
definitely.
You've got to win them over really quickly. You've got to get their interest, and that question is vital at the start of the conversation, just to get pique their interest straight away and keep them on the phone. You know, you may not be able to keep them on the phone there, but at least like today with a call, with a partner call we did earlier, I got him on the phone. He was busy. I've agreed a call in 2 days' time. Great. He knows I've sent him a reminder, so I'm going to be calling him at 3:30 on Friday afternoon. So he knows that call's coming in, and he's been asked I've asked him to watch a video about the client, so that which he's open to watch. He knows he's got to put 5 minutes to one side. So I've been really transparent. I want to send you a video. I want you to watch it. I'm going to ask you some questions on it on Friday. I think it's really interesting. You're trying to bolt on more products to your customer base and offer more products to your customer base. This could be perfect for that. So, you know, that's an ideal call. You know, you're not always going to get somebody on the phone. They're not always going to have the time for you. So and also don't be afraid to be persistent. Don't piss somebody off, but be persistent. And we've got some tricky emails that there's like an email from most of our part. We call it a breakup email. It gets the best response, and we can talk about that breakup email in future discussions. But just the fact, like, ask a question like, do you want us to stop contacting you? We'll try other mediums to contact you. Are you okay? Have you fallen down? Do you want us to ring somebody to pick you up? I mean, that gets me a response every time. And it's a bit of a, at some point you've got a lead and you've got to decide how long you chase them for. We typically work on a 4 to 6 week period. And if we think that it's the right target audience for us, and we think that we can genuinely help them and they do want our help, we will extend that period, because we believe that, it can take, one of our clients has taken 18 months to secure a 3-figure deal, and it's just been confirmed last month, and it's taken us 18 months, but we knew that was the right client. It was a manufacturer client. A lot of work went into that client. We had to be patient. We had to contact them at the right time, and technology was shared. We then shared the partner. It's been a great process. At the end of it, we've had a 3-figure order, which will take us into next year. So other sales will come quicker. Others will take time. It's purely dependent on their needs, requirements, budget, and timeline.
Yeah, for sure. And our approach is to avoid the generic sales pitch, because most companies in automotive have competitors. Typically, their salespeople are still just selling the way they did 20 years ago. They've got Outlook and Excel, and they've just got a company brochure. So offering content that's helpful, but asking the right questions to learn about them. But then I suppose thinking of trends that we've seen, people get lots of cold calls, but if calls are done in the right way, we definitely see picking up the phone as a critical part of actually getting a response. Would you agree? How do you see it from your side?
Yeah, I think most people are actually, I think most sales, and I can say this, I've been in sales for 30 odd years on and off, and working with sales teams and working on my own, working with 6 or 7 guys. I think people are afraid to pick the phone up, actually, because they're almost often afraid that they might get asked a challenging question. Well, be transparent. I do, we are sales, we're a sales-led agency, and we work with a lot of technical partners. If you can't know everything, and if you don't know a question, just be honest and say, I don't know, but I know a man that does, and make sure you go back, and that would then lead into actually a technical call with our partner is probably a good step now, because if you get to that point in the call, the handover to our partner is a really good time when the calls get quite technical. We have a really good engineering understanding of our partners, what they can and what they can deliver and how they can deliver and how they do it. But obviously, we're not engineers, but we do have a really good understanding of what engineers need and the information they need to progress their thought process, their decision process, their buying process, their budget sign-off process. So we know that information. But coming back to your first question, a call will open up lots of questions. Stick to the plan that you've got. Sometimes you have to go off piste and sort of get them back. You might call them about one partner, and actually they're going to end up talking about another partner you work with. Buyers today they're so empowered. Here's a good example. I'm looking to buy a new car at the moment. I've done my research online. I've worked out where I can get the best price. So I'm going to walk into that dealership with a spec sheet and say, right, I want to buy this car. I can get £7,500 off the internet. What can you do me for? I must be the worst. I must be a salesman's nightmare. But actually, if that sales guy can turn it around and say, yeah, I can match that deal. Actually, I've got a better service package. Yeah, you're going to deal with me. There's not going to be, I'm going to be transparent. You're going to like coming here. We're going to look after you. We're going to clean your car when we get it serviced. If you like the guy and you get a good feeling and you think he can look after you, you're going to choose him, basically. So, and I think that mentality to me is like, if you like somebody and they like you back and you can genuinely help them, then that business then becomes pleasure. It becomes easy, and they trust you. And trust is the absolute key. If they trust you, and you don't give them any what's the word I'm looking for without swearing, bullshit. If you don't give them any bullshit, then they think this guy's out me. He's not a typical salesman. He's genuinely trying to help me, and he's got some information which I'm really interested in. That's it. That's the key to it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and if you're cold prospecting, which, you know, companies still need to do that if they want to find their ideal customer. Cold prospecting's fine because it's not cold calling or cold emailing, because you do your research, you find out what they're working on, you target the right companies, offer them something that's going to genuinely help to show you've done your homework. And the same for an inbound inquiry. If you respond to an inbound inquiry with your same generic pitch, the person on the other end is going to know you've not done your homework. So yeah, taking the time to understand who you're talking to or you're emailing is the way to differentiate and
get absolutely. Yeah. You know, I have a number of task calls to do on a daily basis. I've just gone through 10 calls for my partner, and I've done some research on all of those calls just to remind me who was I spoke to last week, just to see if there's any news on their website. Just it might be that they've won a contract, or they've won a funding, or they're going to a race, or they've got a new partner. Just that for me is an opening line as well. It's, oh, congratulations on X. Oh, well done. I didn't realise you purchased 2 WRC cars to run in the ERC championship or whatever it is, basically. So having that knowledge, and that knowledge isn't always available. There's a lot of noise out there, and you've really got to cut through the noise. And I think we're very good at cutting through the noise and actually finding out what we think the ideal customer wants from our partners and targeting those customers. And again, whatever we share them, make sure that we're not too noisy and it's specific and it's the right detail for them to pick up on, have the interest, and then obviously then to take them through the sales journey.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So just sort of coming to the end of this second session about, and looking at the stage that you normally work on from a marketing qualified lead and doing the work to create a sales qualified lead that then goes to a technical meeting, that sort of thing. What would you give as a tip to create the best meeting opportunities so a company's got the best opportunity to then eventually win a new customer or win a deal?
Yeah, I think it's make copious notes, make lots of notes about what you've discussed. Make sure that before you set that technical meeting up, that you've spoken to your partner that can offer the product or service. Make sure that everything is doable, and understand the timeline. Just really get a really good technical understanding of what they want, what it is that they are trying to achieve, what their budget is, what their timeline is, and then really be on that technical call as well, because you might have picked up some information that you've been discussing with the client and your partner, and actually you can then intervene that and say, actually, I thought your timeline was X, and sort of keep the call on track and make sure that everybody in the group, conference call or wherever it's screen share, whatever it is, that they've all got a really good understanding before they have the call as well. Because you might have taken you 6 months to nurture this customer. When you hand it over to your partner, your technical partner, you want to make sure that 6 months worth of information is concise and they get what they're looking for, so that we're not wasting time, because you only get 1 or 2 chances, and you have to show off your partner in the best light, and you have to make sure that what you offer, that, you know, when you do have that technical face-to-face meeting, or you do have that conference call, that it covers everything, and, you know, and it progresses to a next call or another meeting or a demonstration. I mean, there's some of our partners can have products on the shelf. It's very easy. It's a catalogue of products. They have some bespoke parts, but in the norm, it's straightforward. You can show exactly what the sell. Some of our partners, it's very bespoke. It has to be made to order. It's not always easy to demonstrate, but they can demonstrate previous projects that they've been involved in, and they can offer those as case studies to show that who have you been working with, what result have you had, and so on and so on. So yeah, for me, it's just about making all the information really clear and understanding exactly the needs, timelines, and budget.
Yeah, and you sort of mentioned a good point, is to prospect, to generate early leads, to go to technical meetings, to close sales and manage customers. You know, they are different skill sets. The engineer, especially when we've worked together at ProDrive in Subaru days, a sales process worked really well when you have a salesperson and an engineer. But an engineer isn't necessarily the sort of person that's going to carry a a technical meeting opportunity through to close. So
No.
the salesperson needs to project manage that sale, and when they're inside the company, they should look after the company and the customer's interest. When they're outside, they should represent the company, and that always seems to work really well.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to once you've won a customer, the amount of work it is to win the customer. Obviously, you will then want to upsell to the customer, and I think that's probably another one of our Tree Group's key strengths is that we do keep in contact with our customers. If we sign a customer for one of our partners, then we'll go back and ask for feedback. We'll make sure they're being looked after. We'll make sure that what else is it that we can work. Maybe it could be another product that we could speak to them about one of our partners. We're always looking to make sure that our partners keeping good regular contact, and that feedback is because they're quite open to talk to us, and they'll tell us if they've got any challenges or if they're not happy with something, and we'll feed that back, and we'll make sure that they're always being looked after as a Tree Group introduced partner.
Yeah, very good. Good stuff. All right, that's a fairly detailed first session. So if you're interested to follow these in the future, you can subscribe on our blog, which is thetreegroup.co.uk/news. And we'll be back again with Steve and Laura and myself to cover other topics on business growth, sales, marketing, and websites. So for this time, thanks, Steve, and we'll see you again soon.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.